First contact. The night sky over Montana's Glacier National Park erupted with light. A brilliant azure streak cut through the darkness, trailing sparks and debris as it descended at an impossible angle, defying the laws of physics. Park Ranger Elijah Summers stood on the observation deck of his remote station, coffee mug frozen halfway to his lips as he tracked the object's descent. That was no meteor. It moved too deliberately, changing direction twice before disappearing behind the tree line. The ground trembled a moment later, and a distant flash illuminated the mountains. "What the hell?" he whispered, reaching for his radio. Before he could call it in, his phone vibrated with an incoming call from his sister. "Did you see that?" Dr. Maya Summers shouted without preamble. As the lead astronomer at the nearby observatory, she had been tracking unusual signal patterns for the past week. "Hard to miss," Elijah replied. "I'm heading out there now." "Wait for me," Maya insisted. "Whatever that was, it wasn't natural. I'm bringing my equipment." By dawn, they had hiked 8 miles into the wilderness. The path of destruction was easy to follow. Snapped trees, scorched earth, and a strange metallic dust that seemed to hover inches above the ground rather than settle. As they crested a ridge, both stopped short. Below them lay a clearing that hadn't existed yesterday, and in its center sat an object that couldn't possibly be of human origin. The vessel was approximately 60 feet long, with a seamless iridescent hull that shifted colors like oil on water. No visible windows or doors interrupted its smooth oval surface. It had embedded itself partially in the earth, but showed no signs of damage from the impact. "This is impossible," Maya breathed, adjusting her glasses as she pulled out her instruments. "The heat signature is barely above ambient temperature. Something moving that fast should be molten." Elijah approached cautiously, his ranger training at odds with his racing heart. "Should we call this in?" Maya was already moving downslope toward the craft. "Give me 20 minutes first. Once we report this, we'll never get near it again." She was right. Protocol demanded immediate notification, but scientific curiosity won out. This was history unfolding, and the Summers siblings were the only witnesses. Maya circled the vessel, taking readings with her specialized equipment. "Eli, this material, it's not registering as any known element. And there's some kind of field extending about 3 meters from the hull." Elijah reached the vessel and extended his hand toward the surface, stopping just short of touching it. "There's resistance, like pushing through thick liquid." "Don't touch it," Maya warned, but her caution came too late. Elijah's fingers made contact with the hull. The surface rippled like water, and a pulse of blue light spread from the point of contact, racing across the entire vessel. Both siblings stepped back as a section of the hull simply dissolved, revealing an entrance. "What did you do?" Maya whispered. "I don't know," Elijah said, equally stunned. "But I think it just invited us in." The interior defied the vessel's external dimensions, impossibly larger inside than out. The walls pulsed with subtle light, illuminating a central chamber with what appeared to be control consoles, though without buttons or screens as humans would understand them. Instead, floating geometric shapes hovered above smooth surfaces, rotating slowly. "This is incredible," Maya said, her scientific mind struggling to process what she was seeing. Her instruments had stopped functioning the moment they crossed the threshold. As they ventured deeper into the vessel, their presence triggered reactions. Lights followed their movements, and surfaces shifted as if alive. In the center of the main chamber, a spherical projection suddenly materialized, a 3-dimensional map of stars, planets, and what could only be galactic clusters. "It's a star map," Maya realized, reaching toward one particularly bright point. As her finger approached, the map zoomed dramatically, focusing on a spiral galaxy she instantly recognized. "That's the Milky Way." The map continued to zoom, centering on a familiar solar system, then Earth, then their exact location. Coordinates and symbols appeared, scrolling too quickly to comprehend. "This thing was looking for us," Elijah said, a chill running down his spine. It came here deliberately. As if responding to his words, the vessel trembled. A soft hum filled the air, and a compartment opened in one of the walls. Inside was a small crystalline object, roughly the size of a softball, pulsing with internal light. Maya approached it carefully. Some kind of data storage, maybe, or a power source. Before she could investigate further, a voice spoke, not in sound waves, but directly in their minds, bypassing their ears entirely. Sanctuary seekers found. Protectors identified. The seed is now yours to guard. The siblings exchanged startled glances. Protectors, Elijah repeated. The collector's approach. 15 solar cycles until arrival. The seed must be preserved at all costs. The crystal pulsed brighter, and tendrils of light extended from its core, touching both humans. They gasped simultaneously as information flooded their consciousness. Fragmented images of a vast civilization, an ancient conflict, and a desperate escape. Something's hunting this ship, Maya said, interpreting the impressions faster than her brother. Something called the collectors. Elijah winced as more information poured into his mind. And they're coming here. To take this seed. Outside, their phones began ringing in unison. The impact and unusual energy signatures had already been detected by multiple agencies. The government response was imminent. Integration initiated. Protector protocol engage. The crystalline object, the seed, pulsed once more, and the siblings watched in astonishment as luminous patterns appeared on their skin, tracing their veins for a moment before fading from visibility, leaving behind only a faint warmth. What just happened? Elijah asked, examining his arms. Maya's scientific mind was already forming theories. I think it just linked with us somehow. I feel different. They had no time to process this development. The sound of approaching helicopters echoed through the clearing. Too late to keep this quiet, Elijah said, moving toward the exit. We need to cooperate fully. Tell them everything. Maya hesitated, her hand hovering over the crystal. Everything. Something in her had changed, some instinct awakened by the vessel's influence. Without fully understanding why, she slipped the seed into her pocket just as the vessel sealed the compartment again. Maybe not everything, she decided. Not yet. They emerged from the vessel to find 3 black military helicopters landing in the clearing. Men in tactical gear poured out, forming a perimeter around the site. A woman in a dark suit approached them, flanked by armed soldiers. Dr. Maya Summers and Ranger Elijah Summers, she stated rather than asked. I'm Special Agent Diana Chen, Department of Defense. You've made a significant discovery. How do you know our names? Elijah asked. Agent Chen's expression remained neutral. We've been monitoring unusual astronomical phenomena in this region for the past week. Your sister's observatory has been on our radar. She gestured to the vessel. Did you make contact with it? Before they could answer, a soldier called out in alarm. The vessel's surface was changing, hardening from its earlier fluid state into something resembling burnished metal. Its color deepened to an impenetrable black, and all entrances disappeared. It's protecting itself, Maya realized. Or preparing, Elijah added quietly. Agent Chen issued rapid orders, establishing a secure perimeter and calling for scientific teams. Within hours, the remote clearing had transformed into a bustling military installation. Tents, equipment, and personnel surrounded the vessel, which remained completely sealed and unresponsive to all attempts at entry or analysis. Maya and Elijah were separated for debriefing, each relating their experiences, minus the seed, and their strange integration with the vessel. As night fell, they were permitted to reunite in a secure tent at the edge of the camp. They're bringing in specialists from all over the world, Maya told her brother. Physicists, linguists, military strategists. They're taking this very seriously. Did you tell them about the message? About the collectors? Elijah asked. Maya shook her head. Only that we heard some kind of communication. I didn't mention the 15-day timeline. She lowered her voice, and I didn't show them this. She carefully withdrew the crystalline seed from a hidden pocket in her jacket. In the dim light of the tent, it glowed softly, pulsating like a heartbeat. Maya, you can't just take alien technology. I didn't take it, she insisted. It chose us. You heard the message. We're its protectors now. Elijah ran a hand through his hair in frustration. Protection from what? We don't even know what the collectors are or what this thing does. The seed pulsed brighter, as if responding to their discussion. Suddenly, both siblings doubled over as a wave of information crashed through their minds. Clearer this time, more structured. They saw vast ships moving through the darkness of space, hundreds of them, all converging on Earth. They saw the collectors, beings of shifting form and terrible purpose, harvesters of technology and knowledge from across the galaxy. They understood the seed contained the accumulated wisdom of a dying civilization, sent to find worthy inheritors before the collectors could claim it. They're coming here to take it, Maya gasped as the vision faded. And they'll destroy anything in their way. Elijah steadied himself against a table. We need to tell Chen. The government needs to prepare. Prepare how? You saw those ships. Our military would be useless against that kind of technology. So what's your plan? The two of us against an alien invasion. Maya cradled the seed in her palms. Not just us. The seed chose us to protect it, but I think it's also protecting us. These marks it gave us, the information it's sharing, I think it's preparing us. The seed pulsed again, this time projecting a holographic display into the air between them. Technical schematics and equations beyond current human understanding, yet somehow comprehensible to the siblings. It's showing us how to defend ourselves, Maya whispered in awe. How to use its technology against the collectors. Outside their tent, alarms suddenly blared across the camp. They rushed out to see soldiers and scientists looking skyward, where dozens of lights had appeared, too steady to be stars, too patterned to be satellites. Agent Chen approached them, her composure finally cracking. Our deep space monitoring stations just picked up multiple objects entering the solar system, she said. They're accelerating toward Earth. Maya and Elijah exchanged grim looks. The 15-day countdown had just been dramatically shortened. The collectors had arrived. The reckoning. The lights in the sky multiplied over the next hour, forming a geometric pattern that was visible not just above Montana, but worldwide. News channels interrupted regular programming as the formation became visible to the naked eye in daylight. A vast triangular array of metallic objects that reflected sunlight like polished mirrors. The military installation around the alien vessel transformed into a command center for Earth's response. World leaders convened in emergency sessions while military forces mobilized globally, despite the obvious futility of conventional weapons against beings capable of interstellar travel. Maya and Elijah were brought to the Central Operations Tent, where Agent Chen was coordinating with military and scientific leaders via video conference. They're not responding to any communication attempts, she informed them. All frequencies, all languages, mathematical sequences, nothing. They're not here to talk, Elijah said grimly. They're here for the seed. Chen's eyes narrowed. The what? Maya hesitated only briefly before revealing the crystalline object she had been concealing. The room fell silent as the seed pulsed with inner light, casting strange shadows across the stunned faces of the assembled officials. It's what they want, she explained. It contains the knowledge of an entire civilization, one that the collectors have been hunting across the galaxy. And you didn't think this was relevant information to share earlier? Chen demanded. We didn't fully understand what it was, Elijah defended. The vessel chose us as its protectors. We're still learning what that means. On the screens surrounding them, panicked reports streamed in from around the world. The alien ships maintained their formation, but had extended a sphere of influence that disrupted electronic systems within its radius. Military jets that attempted to approach returned with pilots reporting complete system failures as they neared the formation. A new voice joined the conversation. General William Hayes, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, speaking from the Pentagon. Dr. Summers, we need to know what we're dealing with. What are the capabilities of these collectors? And what exactly does this seed contain that makes it so valuable? Maya placed the seed on the central table, where it continued to pulse rhythmically. The collectors are a species that evolved beyond physical form. They exist partly as energy, partly as matter, a collective consciousness that spreads across multiple vessels. They don't create technology. They harvest it from other civilizations, often by force. And the seed, pressed a scientist on another screen. It's the distilled knowledge and consciousness of a civilization called the Architects, Elijah explained, the information flowing into his mind from his connection with the seed. They were the only species to ever successfully resist the collectors, developing technologies that could disrupt their form. Before the collectors destroyed their homeworld, the Architects created seeds, vessels of knowledge sent to find worthy successors. Why Earth? General Hayes asked. Why us? Maya smiled slightly. Apparently, humans have something the Architects valued, something the collectors lack. Creativity, unpredictability, empathy. A deafening sound suddenly cut through the air, a low-frequency pulse that rattled bones and set teeth on edge. Outside, the sky darkened as the collector formation descended lower, now visible directly above the camp. Communication systems crackled with interference, then clarified as a message came through on all channels simultaneously. The voice was not human, a synthetic approximation that sounded like multiple voices speaking in perfect unison. Inhabitants of Earth, you herbior stualien property that belongs to the QOLDC TIV. Surrender the Architect CED and TAE vessel. Resistance will raise ULT in planetary STORI Elizahition. UHV 3HOURs 2CO Mempili. The transmission ended, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. They can't be serious, one of the officials said. Planetary sterilization. They're entirely serious, Maya confirmed. They've done it before. The seed is showing me worlds they've destroyed, dozens of them. General Hayes leaned forward on his screen. What are our options? Conventional weapons will be useless, Elijah said. But the seed is offering alternatives. It's been downloading technical information directly into our minds, designs for defensive systems that could be constructed with Earth technologies. In 3 hours, Chen scoffed. Maya's eyes lit up with sudden inspiration. We don't need to build everything from scratch. The vessel itself is a weapon. That's why the seed was sent in it. It's been repairing itself since it landed, conserving energy. And we can't even get inside it anymore, Chen reminded her. Maya and Elijah exchanged looks. We can, Elijah said. The vessel recognized us as its protectors. It will respond to us. Within minutes, they stood before the black, seemingly impenetrable surface of the alien craft. Military personnel maintained a respectful distance, weapons at the ready despite their likely ineffectiveness. Maya held the seed in her outstretched hands. We understand now, she said to the vessel. We accept our role as protectors. The surface of the vessel rippled, and a doorway formed. As Maya and Elijah stepped inside, Agent Chen moved to follow them, only to be blocked as the entrance sealed behind the siblings. Inside, the vessel had transformed. Where before it had seemed damaged and dormant, now it hummed with energy. Surfaces glowed with intricate patterns, and the central chamber had expanded to accommodate new structures that had formed from the vessel's self-healing materials. The seed floated from Maya's hands, taking position at the center of the chamber where it expanded, projecting a complex interface around itself. Full integration required, the voice spoke in their minds. Temporary symbiosis necessary for defensive protocols. What does that mean? Elijah asked warily. Your biological systems must temporarily merge with vessel systems. The process is reversible but essential for operational control. Maya approached the floating seed. Will it hurt? Pain is irrelevant to survival. But no, pain is not an intended component of the process. Maya took a deep breath and looked at her brother. We don't have a choice, do we? If we do nothing, the collectors will destroy Earth. Elijah nodded grimly. What do we need to do? In answer, 2 reclined platforms rose from the floor, shaped perfectly to human anatomy. As the siblings positioned themselves, the surfaces molded around them, securing them in place. Integration commencing. Remain calm. Your consciousness will expand. Tendrils of light extended from the seed, wrapping around the siblings. Where they touched skin, they seemed to sink beneath the surface, following the paths of veins and nerves. Maya gasped as foreign sensations flooded her system, her awareness suddenly extending beyond her physical form to encompass the entire vessel. She could feel its systems, understand its purpose and capabilities. More than that, she could sense the architect's presence, echoes of the ancient beings who had created the seed, their knowledge and experiences preserved within its crystalline matrix. Beside her, Elijah underwent the same transformation. Their minds linked through the vessel's systems, sharing thoughts and impressions at the speed of light. I can see them, he whispered. The collectors. I can see what they really are. Through the vessel's sensors, they perceived the true nature of the threat above. Beings of pure information housed in technological shells, ancient and patient and utterly ruthless in their pursuit of knowledge. The vessel was damaged during its escape, Maya realized. It had to make an emergency landing on Earth, but it's been repairing itself, preparing for this moment. Correct. Primary defensive systems now at 87% functionality. Offensive capabilities limited to 64% capacity, sufficient for temporary deterrence. Show us, Elijah commanded. The seed expanded its projection, displaying the vessel's capabilities. It was designed as both sanctuary and fortress, capable of generating energy fields that disrupted the collector's control over their technology. More importantly, it could broadcast a signal that would temporarily fragment their collective consciousness, forcing them to retreat or risk dissolution. We need to warn everyone first, Maya insisted. When we activate these defenses, the collectors will retaliate. Communications array available. Message can be transmitted to all Earth devices simultaneously. Working through their mental link with the vessel, the siblings crafted an emergency broadcast that appeared on every screen worldwide. Phones, computers, televisions, billboards. Maya's face appeared, her eyes glowing slightly with the vessel's energy. People of Earth, this is Dr. Maya Summers. In less than 2 hours, we will activate defenses against the alien presence threatening our planet. When this happens, there may be electromagnetic disruptions. Stay away from electronic equipment. Seek shelter underground if possible. This is not a drill. Outside the vessel, military and civilian personnel scrambled to implement these instructions, evacuating surrounding areas and coordinating global responses. Agent Chen directed operations from just outside the vessel, maintaining communication through a channel the siblings had established. As the 3-hour deadline approached, the collector ships descended further, now hovering less than a mile above the Earth's surface. Their formation had shifted, concentrating directly above the vessel's location. Inside, Maya and Elijah had become one with the vessel's systems, their consciousness expanded beyond human limitations. They're preparing their attack, Elijah observed through the vessel's sensors. Energy readings are spiking. We're ready, Maya responded, feeling the defensive systems charging around them. On my mark. The collector's ultimatum expired, and immediately their vessels began emitting a blinding light that cut through the atmosphere toward the ground, a preliminary attack designed to demonstrate their power. Now, Maya commanded. The alien vessel activated, its previously dark surface blooming with patterned light that spread outward in concentric rings. A pulse of energy expanded in a dome that intercepted the collector's attack, dissipating it harmlessly. The siblings directed the vessel's systems with instinctive precision, their human creativity adapting the architect's technology in ways its creators hadn't anticipated. The collectors responded immediately, intensifying their attack. The sky turned red as energy weapons targeted not just the vessel but surrounding areas. The protective dome held, but the siblings felt the strain through their integrated consciousness. "We can't maintain this indefinitely," Elijah warned. "We need to activate the disruption signal." "Not yet," Maya insisted. "They're still too spread out. We need them to concentrate their forces." She directed the vessel to emit a focused beam of energy toward the largest collector ship, striking it with pinpoint accuracy. The massive vessel shuddered visibly, its systems momentarily disrupted. The strategy worked. The collector formation tightened, ships clustering together for greater combined firepower. Their attack intensified, raining destruction against the protective dome, which now showed signs of weakening. "Now," Maya commanded. The vessel's core activated, channeling energy through the seed and amplifying it exponentially. A pulse of specialized radiation, harmless to Earth life, but devastating to the collector's unique composition, erupted outward. Where it struck the alien ships, their perfect formations faltered. Several smaller vessels collided, while others drifted aimlessly. "It's working," Elijah exulted. "Their collective consciousness is fragmenting." The disruption was temporary, but effective. The largest collector vessels began retreating to higher orbits, while others maintained their attack, though with diminished coordination. Then something unexpected happened. The seed pulsed with renewed energy, and new information flowed into the siblings' expanded consciousness. "There's more," Maya realized with wonder. The architects left something else within the seed, a message specifically for the collectors. Acting on intuition, she directed the vessel to transmit this encoded message toward the alien fleet. The effect was immediate and dramatic. All attacks ceased. The collector vessels hung motionless in the atmosphere. Then, one by one, they began to retreat, not just to orbit, but accelerating away from Earth entirely. What was the message? Agent Chen demanded through the communication link. Maya struggled to translate concepts that existed beyond human language. It was an offer. The architects didn't just leave knowledge in the seed, they left a part of themselves. A path to coexistence that the collectors had rejected millennia ago. "Why would they accept it now?" Chen asked. "Because we demonstrated something they didn't expect," Elijah explained. "When we combined human creativity with architect technology, we created solutions they hadn't encountered in thousands of years of existence. We showed them there was value in cooperation rather than assimilation." As the last collector vessel disappeared from Earth's atmosphere, the siblings initiated the separation protocol. The vessel gently withdrew its integration with their biological systems, returning them to fully human consciousness. The experience left them changed, not just by the knowledge they had accessed, but by the profound expansion of perspective. Outside, they were greeted as heroes. Agent Chen approached with a mix of awe and wariness. "What happens now? Will they return?" Maya looked up at the sky, now returned to its natural blue. "Not as enemies. The seed has established a communication channel. They're curious about us now, rather than dismissive." "And the vessel?" General Hayes asked, having arrived at the site during the confrontation. "It belongs to Earth now," Elijah said. "The architects designed it to integrate with its chosen protectors. It will help us prepare." "Prepare for what?" Chen asked. Maya smiled. "For joining a much larger community. The collectors aren't the only species out there, and not all are hostile. The architects had allies, civilizations that have been watching Earth for generations, waiting for us to prove ourselves." In the days that followed, the world began to process what had occurred. The vessel remained where it had landed, but transformed again, extending structures that interfaced with human technology. Maya and Elijah, permanently changed by their experience, became the primary intermediaries between humanity and the knowledge contained within the seed. Countries that had been enemies for generations found common purpose in the face of cosmic perspective. Resources previously dedicated to warfare were redirected toward understanding and implementing the gift of knowledge the architects had left. 1 month after the collectors' retreat, a new signal was detected approaching Earth, not threatening this time, but inviting. The vessel responded automatically, projecting a message that everyone on the planet could understand. First Contact Protocol initiated. The architect's legacy has awakened. Humanity has been recognized as worthy successors. The galactic community extends greeting. Maya stood in the control center beside her brother, watching as representatives from every nation gathered to prepare Earth's response. The siblings exchanged a smile, feeling the subtle pulse of the seed's energy that remained within them, a permanent connection to something greater than themselves. Ready for what comes next? Elijah asked. Maya looked at the screen showing the approaching diplomatic vessels, sleek and brilliant against the darkness of space, nothing like the ominous presence of the collectors. "We were born ready," she replied. "That's why they chose us." Beyond Earth, word spread through the stars. A new species had joined the great conversation of sentient beings, one that had faced the collectors and not only survived but changed them. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community would be remembered for millennia to come, not for their technology, but for what the architects had recognized in them from the beginning: the unpredictable, beautiful potential of a species that refused to surrender hope even against impossible odds. The seed had found its home, and Earth had found its destiny among the stars.